Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and you know who it is to my right. I don't know, left, I guess.
That-
Jason Cameron. We are going to break down the weekend of sports, especially week 4 in the NFL. It is currently almost finished for the week. We've got the Monday Nighter as we're recording here. 4 minutes left in the game, and San Francisco is winning 24-9. Looks like every team in the NFC West will be all 2-2. The only division that'll have all teams tied. It'll be kind of wild. I just saw an amazing pick six by I got to get this guy's name right. Tanaloa Hufanga. He's the safety for the Niners. He just picked off Matthew Stafford, pick six, and took it to the house. So, yeah, it looks very, very, very likely that all 4 teams are 2-2 after 4 games. Kind of wild to have that for a division already, hey?
yeah, it is. But also too, it just speaks to the parity of that said division.
Yeah.
That all the teams are pretty equal, and like especially in this game. But I do want to say this: it's been really hard to pick who's going to win and who's going to lose in these first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like for me, especially being in football pools and stuff, I'm not getting nothing right. Like nothing.
Yeah, it's nutty. Yeah, it's hard. It's never been harder, I don't think. Yeah, it's really so much parity. I saw today there's only one undefeated team left, the Eagles. There's only one winless team left, the Texans. There's so many teams that are 2-2. There's 13 teams 2-2. There's there'll be I guess 15 teams 2-2 after tonight. Yeah, it's crazy, the parity, and week to week you just really don't know who's gonna win. You can put in a guess, you can put in some money, but yeah, it's a crapshoot all the time.
Yeah, it's a toss of a coin. It's a flip of a coin, man, because like but that's cool. That's what I love about the league. That's what I love about the game of football. And then who would have thought by week 4, a lone undefeated team would be the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it would have won a lot of money if that's what your bet was. And Miami Dolphins were undefeated going in, but they lost Thursday. A lot of talk about Tua and him getting concussed. We can't wait to get into that conversation. That's a really, really wild one. I think that's actually going to change things in the NFL because of the way that's been handled and all the crazy shenanigans out of that. But I do want to touch a little more on this game. Jeff Wilson got the first touchdown, 18-yard run. Deebo Samuel had a TD catch. He almost scored a second one. Caught a ball and got it all the way down inside the 1-yard line, but they got stopped and they had to kick a field goal. Robbie Gould missed a 42-yard field goal when it was 17-9 and still was a 1-score game. George Kittle got a TD catch called off when his second foot just hit the white on the back line there, and it was a no-go. But yeah, it really looks like 2.5 minutes left. Looks like the Niners got this pretty wrapped up. Rams have the ball marching, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to have 2 scores in this short of time. Cooper Kupp's having an amazing game. As always, let's look at his numbers. 12 catches, 100 yards, another 12 catches for the guy. He's leading the NFL in catches again, and it looks like he's going to do it for the second year in a row as long as he can stay healthy. Nobody can stop this guy.
No, nobody can stop him. He's just like a Ford truck, just dependable. Like he's just always going to be there, just catching balls. Like it doesn't matter what you're going to do as a defense. He's like, no, he's just going to catch his balls, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah,
incredible. You're going to have to accept it for what it is.
Yeah, and Tyler Higbee's had a good game too. 10 catches, 73 yards. Not a huge running game for the Rams tonight, but Stafford has good numbers, and yeah, he's trying to bring him back. But 2 minutes left. probably unlikely. I'm watching the Manning cast right now, and they just had Steph Curry on as their guest, and he was great. Really fun to hear his insight. And they currently have John Hamm providing some insight and analysis and some funny comments on the game. I'm not sure who other guests they had tonight, but I love watching the Manning cast. I got the main going on that TV, but I got the Manning cast here on the side, and oh my God, the Niners almost had another pick six just there. 2-minute warning, going to commercial break, but yeah, that's amazing that that division all 2-2, and we'll break it down in a sec. But let's talk about the long weekend first a little bit. Tell me about your long weekend. How did you enjoy having the 3 days off?
3 days off was great. Fantastic. I saw one friend Friday evening. We hung out, went out. It was fantastic. It was fun.
Nice.
And Saturday, I had another friend come in from out of town. Saw him for a little bit, and that was nice too as well. So it was good. It was a good long weekend, but I have to say, it felt fast.
Yeah,
it felt like it went by super quick. I don't know why it felt like that, but it definitely felt like that to me.
That's too bad. Yeah, I hate that. I don't think it felt too fast for me. It was nice to have that extra day for sure. Really took advantage of it, and so much sports on these days. This is a sports lover's dream. I'm not too picky on the sports I love, so I get to watch great baseball and hockey and preseason basketball, and there's obviously football and UFC, and the preseason basketball was great. I told you last week that the Raptors were here in BC with the training camp over in Victoria. They had an inter-squad game at the arena there, and it was sold out. And then they had a preseason game yesterday, the first preseason game in your hometown, and the crowd was nuts. The crowd was the craziest I think I've ever seen at a basketball game outside of Europe. It was amazing. The Edmonton crowd was just going crazy. I think every single one of them had a jersey. Every single one of them was cheering the whole entire game. They had a blast there, and all the players said, "Man, that was one of the greatest moments I've ever had in a basketball game." Maybe Edmonton deserves an NBA franchise, because the way they supported that preseason game, it was awesome.
No, that's fantastic. That's great to hear. That's great to hear that we have such passionate fans in this country, because we do.
Yeah.
And I think we have enough passionate fans for the NBA that we should actually have two teams in this country.
Yeah.
Always thought that, and I still think that. I think it was a travesty that we lost our team the way that we did. We should have two teams.
Yeah. Oh, I think we should have 3 or 4 teams. I think it's time to come north of the border here. The support that the Raptors have got is just shows that there are a huge amount of basketball fans here. This is not just a hockey nation like everybody says.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is not. And then we've had trailblazers that have blazed the way for more Canadian talent to be, funneled into the NBA. And we see it from year to year that we have top talent in the first round that go into the NBA all the time now.
Yeah. So before you turned on the camera tonight, did you do a bug check?
I did. And so far, so good, but we'll see.
I got some comments this past week about your tough time with the bug there a couple times. Whoa, jumping and running and trying to get it. Made people laugh for sure.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because I thought it was terrifying, but sure, I'm glad people laugh.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if you did a nice big check, because that was amazing. I don't know if I ever saw it on camera, but I definitely saw your reaction. It made me laugh watching it back.
Well, yeah, and you know, in hindsight, yes, it was funny, but at the time, not that funny for me.
Okay. All right. Okay, I got a rant right now. I'm pissed off. Need to get it off my chest. I don't know how I can get this changed, but we have the highest gas prices on the continent, and right now it's ridiculous again. It's getting up to like close to 240 again. What the hell? It was $1.80 a month ago, and now it's 240, and like what the heck's going on? Like this is going to make every single solitary thing we buy more expensive because all the trucks have to take it to where the places we're buying it, and this is gonna cause inflation, cause a lot of havoc. And I drive a lot. I don't want to be paying these kind of gas prices. How are we going to stop this from happening? Because why here in Vancouver are we paying twice as much as they're paying in Alberta? We're paying way more than anybody's paying on the continent. This is ridiculous. Like, why should we stand for it?
Well, isn't it going towards like that money? Is it not being this is kind of funny for me. Is it not being allocated towards our infrastructure that doesn't exist? I think that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
right?
some of it we're being taxed for stuff like that, for transit, crap like this, which seems ridiculous to me. Like, just raise the transit fees. If people are taking transit and you need more money, then raise that. Because I don't really take transit, very rarely. And, I'm driving my car. I shouldn't be paying for other things like that. It seems really, really, really dumb. But I think we should be lining up in front of the politicians and saying, enough's enough. This is ridiculous. We got to stop this. We don't want this to keep continuing on, because it's not just what's going to cost driving around. It's making every single item that we buy more expensive.
No, it is. But you know what the response of the politicians are going to be is like, but we need to line our pockets, sir.
Yeah.
So no, it's not going to work like that. In fact, if anything, we're going to make that go up to $3. All right.
Oh, great.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It better not. I'll be protesting right in front of City Hall. You're gonna see me there. Please honk when you drive by, because I'm gonna have picket signs. Just give me a little when you drive by, please.
Yeah, no, I'm sure some people will. I'm sure everybody will be supporting you, but you'll be the only person there. You do know that, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be lonely, but hey, man, I got to do something. This is a piss off, and I'm really, really, really disgusted. Okay, remember we talked about Aaron Judge?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We talked about him last week. So he tied Roger Maris at 61. He spent entire week, I think almost the entire week and the weekend coming up to bat, and I had to watch every at bat, and he didn't hit his home run. It was just like, I was getting excited. I was thinking, this is it. On Saturday, there was an amazing moment where the broadcaster of the ball game was like, okay, this is crazy, but at this time, 61 years ago, Roger Maris hit his home run. So he knew it to the time. It was 2:43 Eastern time, and he knew it to the time. So Aaron Judge walked up at 2:41 Eastern time. And so I'm just like, holy shit, like this would be just storybook. This would be something that, you couldn't even write in the script and make anybody believe it. But Aaron Judge came up and he took a couple pitches. He fouled off a couple pitches. Suddenly it was 2:43, and it would have been 61 years to the minute that Roger Maris had hit his 61st, and this would have been Aaron Judge's 62nd. And he struck out, and it didn't happen. And yesterday he struck out 3 times, The pitchers have been not really throwing him much to hit at all. It's been pretty bad. Walking him. And I think yesterday he started getting frustrated. I think he started swinging at pitches he shouldn't have, because I think he's just like, I'm not
I want to hit
already like just I want to get one. So
Yeah.
he struck out at a career high 3 times yesterday, and it was really too bad because this was in New York. The Yankees fans were there selling out the place, standing room only in the bleachers, and now they're in Texas today, and so he's not going to hit it in front of the home crowd. It's starting to get down on nitty gritty. I think they might have 5 games left or 4 games left. So yeah, he might not break the record. It seemed inevitable once he had got that 61, but it's been painful to watch game after game after game for this past week and him not getting it.
Well, how about this? Do you think he could get it if the pitchers aren't going to pitch to him? Like if the pitchers aren't going to pitch to him, it's going to be really, really hard for him to get that next home run.
Yeah.
Like really difficult.
Yeah.
So
I know. There's only been one guy that's really pitched to him in the past 2 weeks, and that's the guy he hit the home run off. And you know, I've been saying to lots of friends and everybody that, you know, I wouldn't be afraid of him. You know, you're a professional pitcher, like get him out, try to get him out, throw it by him. And if he does hit the home run, you're going to be remembered for the rest of history. So is there something wrong with that? Like I gave up a home run to the best home run hitter that's ever lived. So is that's, you know, that's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to be, you know, thinking, wow, I suck. You know, you gave it up to this guy that's a monster of a human being that, you know, set a record. You're not going to be, probably most of these pitches are not going to be known 3, 4, 5 years from now. They're going to be forgotten. But if you give up this home run, you're in the history books for the rest of time.
Well, I just want to put in a slight caveat to that, which is the best clean hitter.
Yeah.
Home run hitter.
Well, it's an American League record, okay?
Okay.
The other 3 guys, McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds, all did it in the National League. And, you know, yes, they were not clean. And you know, yes, they did break the record, but this is the Yankees record, the American League record, and the clean record, like you said.
Yeah. And it would be nice, man. It would be nice if pitchers would allow him the opportunity to break the record.
Yeah.
But that's only if the pitchers allow him the opportunity, or the you know, the bench bosses allow him the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, then there's not much he can do if he's just going to be walked for the next 5 games.
Yeah, it's tough. It's got to be just infuriating and super, super tough. Okay, so I'm getting more and more frustrated with the NFL. It's becoming really, really, really hard to watch a lot of games, and not just screaming at the TV, yelling at the refs, brutal calls. Can you tell me the reason why they have the penalty ineligible man downfield? Why would they not allow a lineman to run? They don't allow a lineman to run more than a few yards away from the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. Like, is that what would be the purpose of that penalty?
Well, I guess for the defense, so that they know that they don't have to cover everybody. So they just don't have like the lineman just kind of go for it and say, I'm open. I don't know.
It's so dumb. It's so infuriating and dumb and just ridiculous. Like, I'm waiting for a lineman to go to them and sue them for saying that I'm 450 pounds because you don't even let me run. I don't know. I'm not allowed to run. According to the rules of the game, I can't run. So I've been just eating the normal food that I eat, but I can't run anymore. You don't allow it. So I am so massively fat that I'm dying. and you owe me $100 million.
Yeah, that would be cool. Won't happen, but that would be awesome. That would be like a really cool thing that the NFL, another cool thing that the NFL would have to deal with. But I don't know. And you know what? I guess they have their prescribed like receivers or eligible people downfield that you can pass the ball to. And linemen are just never eligible unless they get put into the tight end spot.
Sure. I'm not saying, these guys have got to be all eligible to get the ball thrown to them. I'm fine with that, but it's a broken play. The guy's trying to run and block a guy. All of a sudden, penalty, flag, boom, you're back 10 yards. It just was happening so much the past couple weeks, and I'm just so bloody sick of it. I'm really pissed off. Obviously this week there's been a massive amount of talk about concussions because of Tua getting hurt on Sunday, a week ago Sunday, and then on Thursday. So a week ago Sunday, he takes the hit, hits his head, gets up, super wobbly, woozy, can't stand on his own, leaves the game, goes to the doctors, they evaluate him. They say, sure, you can go back in. So he goes back in, he plays. Then Thursday, short week, they say that he had a back injury.
Back and neck injury. He's going to be fine. He's thrown back in there. Obviously takes a really bad hit. Guy tosses him down on the ground, hits his head. Obviously concussed at this point. Clutching his hands in a very weird way that we see a lot in the UFC. We've seen in other sports. Definitely they say concussion this time. Okay, boom. Oh yeah.
But everyone says that it was exacerbated because of his previous concussion that was undiagnosed. They thrown back in there, and they even fired the doctor that threw him back in the game.
Ooh.
So that doctor is probably going to sue them. He said he went through his proper checks. They said, no, you didn't. Goodbye. See you later. You're gone. It's been crazy how much this has got legs and publicity, and everybody seems to be talking about it. And I think it's going to change football. I think a guy's going to get his head wrung, and that's it. He won't be back in. Anytime that happens, won't be back in that game, won't be back in the next game. And they're just going to err on the side of caution, and they're just going to, boom, he's out, he's gone, boom. And so I don't know, man. Were you surprised at how much conversation this has sparked, and it's just widespread all over the place?
I'm going to be honest. No, I am not, because of just the way that that nerve flinching that he did with his fingers, and then the way he got carted off. Yeah, no, man, there should be talk about that, because there was a time where the NFL said there's no connection between concussions and football. None. I kind of remember that.
That's true. They denied it, didn't they?
They denied it.
Yeah.
Now it's come full circle. Now there's no such thing as a denial. It's wide open. Everybody knows there's certainly a connection between the two. Yeah. The thing that I'm really pissed off about, because now you've got coaches that have said this. Jim Harbaugh said this, where he goes, well, there's no way I would put my player out there like that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But okay, there's such a thing as a coaching fraternity. Usually they don't throw each other under the bus.
No.
Not like that. But he threw him right under the bus, man.
Yeah.
And for the team to say that he only suffered a back and a neck injury where he almost fell on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, really? A back and a neck injury would cause a man to stumble, wobble his head, and almost fall on his face.
Yeah.
Get out of here. That doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
And then you throw him back out there, and that's what you call karma, because the hit in itself wasn't illegal, but it was vicious. And he got major whiplash when he hit the ground like that. All right?
Yeah.
So nobody ever wants to see that. Nobody ever wants to see a man be carted off the field like that. So yes, the discussion needs to happen because at the end of the day, that could affect his livelihood going down the road.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it definitely can. Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's serious business when you're talking about head injuries. I think that they shouldn't be calling it concussion anymore. I think they should call it head injury and make it, super serious, like brain injury, brain
Head trauma.
injury. Yeah.
Yes.
Not concussion. I think that's just taken too lightly now. We saw it in the Sunday nighter last night between the Chiefs and the Bucks. Cameron Brate caught a pass, hit his own teammate as he was being tackled, got a concussion, went off the field, somehow convinced them that he was okay, got thrown back into the game. And there was a lot of outcry again today over that move. And I heard a guy, Bart Scott, say that he went into the testing that they do prior to the season. They do a baseline test. And he said he purposely did really bad on the baseline tests so that if he ever got his bell rung, it wouldn't be alarming. It wouldn't be such a big difference between the initial tests and what he tested off of concussion or something that happened on the field. There's a lot of ways to sort of fool the system. You just have to make sure you say keywords, don't say things that are going to alarm them. There's a lot of ways of sort of getting yourself out of the way, but it definitely shouldn't be up to the player.
Yeah.
It's got to be, 2 or 3 levels deep on if this guy's allowed to play a game right away.
Yeah, and players want to play. That's why they'll fudge they'll try to cheat the system. They'll try to cheat the system all the time. So now when you know that the player's trying to cheat the system, and I don't know. I don't even know how you get the player to answer honestly. I don't know how you would even go about doing that. I don't really know how you would do that. But at the same time, you're there. Your job is to protect him from himself.
Yeah.
So if there's even any inclination that you feel, I don't know, man, then he doesn't play.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's just that simple. It's like if you feel that I don't really feel good about sending you back out there, then he doesn't play. That's it. Done.
I heard that the Miami coach was told that that's what they diagnosed him with, was a neck injury and a back injury, and that's why he said it to the press.
Yeah.
That's what his doctor said. Maybe that's why they fired that doctor, because to everyone that watched the game and saw him when he stood up, that's not from a back, that's not from a neck, that's your bell rung. I've had my bell rung, and you're not really with it enough to know what's going on yourself. Troy Aikman actually said on the broadcast that he got concussed so bad once that he didn't even remember the second half. He played the entire second half and didn't remember 1 second of the second half.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And you know what? And back in that time, it happened all the time.
Yeah.
Which is even worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I had a concussion from football so bad once that I had total amnesia. I was not able to remember my name, where I was from, anything about my life was just completely erased. And I was like, whoa. And I played a bit in the game. I went off. They put me back in. I couldn't do anything because they were calling plays that I had no idea what even meant. I had no memory of anything in my life. And the weird thing was that the guy who hit me had total amnesia as well. And him and I used to run into each other over the years at places, and we would always have this running joke. Hey, you remember that hit? Nope, don't remember it. No. And we just were told what happened. And I didn't have any memory. Luckily it came back. For him, he's had probably about the same length of time where we had total amnesia, and then something just started triggering memories coming back. But it's a scary feeling, I'll tell you that. And thank God it wasn't some permanent damage.
Yeah, and because sometimes it can be permanent damage. I think from the CFL, perfect example is the quarterback Matt Dunnigan. Couldn't remember where he lived.
Wow.
How do you not remember? Like, it's like when you think about that for a second, how do you not remember where you live?
Yeah.
And there were times where he'd be driving home, and then all of a sudden he'd have to phone his wife because he couldn't remember where he lived. He couldn't remember where the house was.
That sucks. That's horrible. Yeah, it's tough. Did you hear that they're making the Pro Bowl a flag football game now?
Who cares? I'm sorry, man. You know what they should do with the Pro Bowl? Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it. Like, because it was beginning to just go downhill, like, I would say 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe even 20 years ago. Like now it's just, why even bother?
Yeah.
Just give them the time off and then just resume play later.
Yeah. The last Pro Bowl was such a joke. It was the worst football game that I've ever seen in my entire life. And it was shockingly terrible. And I thought, wow, like, I can't believe how this is, just completely just doesn't even resemble a football game. It just resembled a bunch of guys in a backyard having fun. It was brutal. Supposedly they're gonna have a bunch of contests, probably like, throw it through a target, who's the fastest runner, doing different things, and then they're gonna have a flag football game. But my worry really is that NFL is going to be to a point where it's going to be almost flag football at some point, because they call penalties on guys hitting guys. Defenses are so worried about doing anything with getting penalties for touching a guy. I think NFL football needs contact. It's a contact sport, and it's great to see big collisions and big hits and nice tackles and stuff. But I don't know. I have a bad feeling the NFL's in big trouble.
Yeah, it's a violent sport. We all know that because of the contact that's involved. They're trying their best to mitigate like really, really bad injuries.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can only do so much. You really can't. You can only do so much. I do appreciate the fact that they're taking the concussion stuff very seriously now.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to see. Because nobody ever wants to see that. I do not want to see another player like Tua being carted off the field like that.
Yeah.
That's not enjoyable. And then also too, if you look at the way the game was played after he was carted off the field, kind of took the life out of the game, bud. Really did.
Yeah. Oh, it sure did. Yeah, it wasn't fun. I heard a few guys talk about the possibility of getting rid of that Thursday game because it's too short of a time between the Sunday game and that Thursday game. Not just for head injuries, but guys are banged up really bad. There's the reason why football is only played once a week, and typically Sunday, but we got that Monday game forever, but that Thursday game's been a pretty recent thing. And I think I don't think it's a good night to have a football game on. I don't think guys get enough rest. And I think there's going to be way too many injuries coming from that Thursday game.
I would love to see if there's numbers done on that since the inception of the Thursday night game, just how many more injuries players have suffered because of that Thursday night game. Yeah. I'm sorry to say this, but it had to have been raised. Those numbers had to have gone up since the inception of that Thursday night game.
Yeah, I think so, man. And I don't like it. I don't want to see it anymore. And hopefully we can outlaw it and just have Sundays and Mondays. That's when NFL should be played. So do you want to just break down that game at all? You said you were right saying that the life was taken out of it. Miami came in undefeated, 3-0, looking really like gangbusters. Obviously, the Miami players really were shaken up after seeing Tua leave like that. Cincinnati, the defending AFC champions, were able to get their second win and look good doing so. 27-15. It wasn't super compelling game, but yeah, what stands out to you outside of that Tua thing?
Was that Burrow actually had a good game. 20 for 31, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Higgins had a great game receiving, 7 receptions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. And also, too, Burrow's offensive line from week to week seems to be getting better and better and better. That's really what actually stood out to me as well.
Yeah, they're figuring it out finally. Yeah, luckily, yeah, he's getting that protection that he needs, and yeah, it was pretty scary there for the first couple of weeks, but yeah, I think the schemes that they're putting him in and the protection is finally there.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a while for them to gel, but it seems that finally they're gelling because, I think Burrow prefers to be standing upright than being on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he sure does. He definitely does. Before we go any further, I forgot to mention that Seattle Mariners and the Toronto Blue Jays both made the playoffs this past weekend. They're both in. Very exciting. Seattle Mariners broke the longest playoff drought in North American sports, 21 years without making the playoffs. They're in, and I couldn't be happier. Looks like they're going to be hosting some playoff games. They'll be hosting a best of 3, and all 3 will be in Seattle. And looks like Toronto will also be hosting a best of 3 in Toronto. So super excited. Yeah, awesome to see both teams making it, and it's going to make for very exciting October baseball.
So 21 years. So is that basically isn't that when Ken Griffey Jr. was playing?
No, he was gone before that, actually. Yeah, he was gone before that. So yeah, it's a long
time.
It's been a long time since that team was relevant. Yeah, very long time. They pretty much lost an entire generation of fans that didn't get to see any success with this team. So I've felt really bad for this team for a long time, and it's great. They've got an exciting group of young guys, some older veterans. They really assembled an awesome team this year, and I couldn't be happier. It's nice to see just a couple hours away. There's going to be finally some playoff ball.
Yeah, and also too, like the field, Safeco Field, that nice field, man.
Oh man,
that's a beautiful field.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they can actually now enjoy some playoff baseball.
Yeah.
It may take another 21 years before they can enjoy it again, but at least they got it this year. So yeah.
No, it's not gonna be 21 years. No, it's not gonna be. Yeah, they finally have an opportunity to be relevant in Seattle too. The Seahawks, 10 years making the playoffs and being the number 1 there. Seattle Storm having a lot of great runs there. They winning a couple championships. Sue Bird retired after a 21-year career, I think she had. This is finally the opportunity for them to step up and be the number 1 team. And yeah, I hope a lot of our listeners, viewers, go down and watch. It's really fun time. Jason, you were there this year, and I've gone down so much over the years. It's a blast, and it'll be great to see them. I really think they can win that first round as well and get into the second round. So it'll be great.
Well, hopefully they can, and hopefully they can give their fans. Well, you know what? They already have given their fans what I like to call hope.
Yeah,
hope for the future, which is nice because they haven't had it for 21 years, so it's good.
I know, crazy, hey? We're amazing. Okay, let's get into let's get into breaking down the games from yesterday. I guess I want to start in the AFC. We'll start in the AFC, and we'll talk about we talked about the Dolphins already. They sit at 3-1 atop the division. Let's talk about the Bills and the Ravens. Buffalo has had an up and down year so far. They are sitting 3-1 after having a terrible first game, but they made a comeback yesterday on Baltimore that was pretty shocking. Listen to this stat. in the Ravens' first 26 seasons in their franchise history, they were 103 all time when leading by 17 or more points. This year, they've had three such games, and they're 1 win, 2 losses. They blew a 20-3 lead in this game. And we said a lot of these old veteran defensive players are rolling around in they're not even in their graves. They're just rolling around in their beds, freaking out because this is weird to see the Ravens defense give up leads like this. And Josh Allen took advantage, and this was a fun game to watch. You got two amazing quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, against each other, and ended up Ravens made a huge mistake at the end, going for it on 4th and goal. Threw the pick. That brought the ball out, gave Allen a chance to go down, kick the winning field goal. Harbaugh's taken a lot of criticism for it, and Lamar Jackson, he definitely shouldn't have thrown that ball. But this was a crazy game.
Yeah, it was a great game. Great game to watch. Again, the Ravens, unfortunately, their defense they're giving up too many points when they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And but I love the fact watching these two guys play the game, but play the game in their style, and because they're both running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very cool to see Lamar Jackson. He gets his 11 carries for 73 yards, and then Allen's he's not outdone. 11 carries for 70 yards with a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
So,
yeah.
And I like the fact that Allen, he's like an old school throwback quarterback where he's like, I don't slide. I'm just going to run you over. And like, you forget how big the man is.
He's a big boy. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. I know. I love it. Yeah. He's not a slider. He's like, I'm taking these guys on and I'm mowing right through them. And yeah, he's definitely got a ton of talent, running the ball, and you don't expect that from a white quarterback. They just all these black quarterbacks that have come in, they're so athletic, they're just so elusive, but he just uses just brute force and strength, and he gets out of the pocket and look out, hard guy to bring down.
Oh, he's a super hard guy to bring down, and so you remember back in the day when a quarterback lowered the shoulder and you got run over, then your teammates were like, "Oh man, that didn't look good."
Yeah.
But now it's like if you got a guy like Allen that blows you up, then you're just like, "Well, it's kind of big."
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's so creative and so great, and both head coaches just must love having those two guys together, and it was fun to see the matchup. I was loving it. It was super exciting. J.K. Dobbins was pretty potent for the Ravens. He had a touchdown on the ground, touchdown through the air. They both got a lot of great weapons. Duvernay was great. Andrews, man, that guy's amazing every week. And Stephon Diggs, Singletary is a great weapon. And yeah, both these teams are really fun to watch. I will sign up every week to watch them.
Yeah, they're both evenly matched, and they showed it. They proved that when they matched up against each other. But definitely the difference in the game was the Bills' D shutting Lamar down.
Yeah.
In that fourth quarter for that one particular drive, and then turning the ball over and giving Allen a chance to win the game, which he did.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah. Jordan Poyer returned. He came back from injury. He had that reception that I talked about in the end zone, and he also had a second interception. So huge, really good for the Bills. Bills secondary has been super banged up, and they were missing a lot of guys the week before. Really good to get him back and get the big win. So as I said, they're 3-1. Ravens are 2-2. Buffalo hosts the 1-3 Steelers in the early window Sunday. Baltimore hosts Cincy, and that's the Sunday nighter. So that should be fun. Seeing Joe Burrow against Lamar Jackson. pretty exciting about that. Okay, let's see. Let's turn to the AFC East. The Jets are sitting there. They are 2-2 now on their record. Zach Wilson came back from injury and looked pretty good, had good numbers. They beat Pittsburgh 24-20. I am pretty impressed with a lot of the things that they've done. This is Zach Wilson caught a touchdown, and it was the first time in franchise history a Jet quarterback has ever caught a TD pass. But the Steelers quarterback outdid him by becoming the first quarterback in NFL history to score 2 rushing touchdowns in his first career game. Kenny Small Mitts Pickett came in and replaced Mitch Trubisky. And even though he had some picks, I could see the huge love the crowd was giving him and the excitement that he seemed to be generating when he came in.
Yeah, he had maybe what you would like to call that it factor.
Yeah,
I think he has it.
Yeah,
and I like the fact that the Steelers said, you know what, let's get him out there, see what he got.
Yeah,
and he did throw the picks and everything else, and then also so did Mitch Trubisky. But if you look at that game, Steelers turned over the ball 4 times just from interceptions and still had a chance to win.
Still close, yeah,
still close. So not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, I agree. It was close. So they've made an announcement that Pickett will be the starter this coming week. Trubisky was benched and will stay there. And we'll see how that shakes out. Good to see Kenny Pickett in there getting a chance. The Jets host the Dolphins, a big AFC East matchup on Sunday, the early window. And the Steelers go to Buffalo, like I mentioned earlier. So staying in the AFC East, there was a game between Green Bay and New England. Green Bay was favored by 10 points. When you heard that Mac Jones wasn't even going to be in there, I think the line even went higher than that. This looked like a complete mismatch, and nobody seemed to be excited about it. And it ended up going to overtime. It was pretty wild to see Brian Hoyer in there. All of a sudden, he's out with a concussion, and we got the rookie Bailey Zappi came in, and he looked good. He had an opportunity. He threw the first touchdown of a rookie quarterback this season, and was able to put a scare into Green Bay and put it into overtime. Quite surprising. Yeah,
it was quite surprising because I first up I was like, Hoyer's still playing? He's still in the league? Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. And then he gets taken out, and then I'm like, well, who's this guy? It's like, all right, man. And then he does well.
Yeah,
he does well.
He actually did well. Yeah.
Well,
it was shocking.
Yes. Went 10 to 50, 99 yards, and obviously the touchdown. He had Stevenson, 14 carries, 66 yards. I was impressed. I was impressed with Patriots' fight that they had, because let's be honest, man, I thought they were just going to get blown out. I didn't think they had it in them. I really did.
Did not look like it would be anywhere close. And especially when Hoyer, their backup gets concussed early, and you're thinking, oh man, this is just going to get brutal. But somehow, he was able to. This rookie was able to come in and play pretty good, and I was very impressed. Aaron Rodgers had another very big milestone. He threw his 500th career TD pass, and looked good in that second half. He had the worst half in his career in that first half. He had, I think, 24 passing yards through a pick six. They were down 10-6 at halftime, and it was looking ugly. It was looking terrible. And he came back in the second half, ended up with pretty good numbers, and led the team to win. But it was not supposed to be this tough.
No, it wasn't supposed to be this tough, but like you said, he led his team to the win. Seems to have found a reliable receiver in Lazard. That seems to be his guy now. With 6 receptions, 116 yards, Lazard had a great game. And also, too, their running attack on point in this game.
Yeah.
Jones, 16 carries, 110 yards, and Dillon, 17 carries, 73 yards.
Yeah.
Their running attack is looking better and better as the weeks go by.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's been key for them and huge. Yeah. So the Patriots host Detroit this coming Sunday, the early 10 a.m. window. And Green Bay hosts the Giants, but in London. So they will be across the pond. And that's a 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern time start. We'll talk about that London game that happened this weekend in a sec. You said you weren't going to wake up. You didn't, I guess.
No. I stayed in bed. Right, should have been.
Okay. I woke up and watched it, and it was a very entertaining game. I got to tell you, I loved it. We had a double doink that happened at the end of that game, and it was a pretty neat game, and I was pretty impressed with the crowd there. Looked like it was fully sold out. Tons of jerseys from both Vikings and the Saints, and I love those London games. It must be tough on the players, but this was pretty cool to see.
It was pretty cool to see. And then also, too, I heard from my coworker, and then I saw it later on in the highlights, that the show Ted Lasso, like the whole cast was in there watching the game. Yes. So that was pretty cool. They obviously didn't have to pay for their tickets. That's what happens. But very cool to see them there. Very cool.
Yeah. You're a fan of the Ted Lasso show? Have you watched a lot of it?
I've watched a couple of episodes, and I got to say, I got to watch more. It is hilarious.
Oh, it's so great. Yeah, one of those really, really good gems. I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, it was cool to see the cast there. They're fun. And I can't believe how many awards they've won since that show's hit the airwaves. It's getting so much critical acclaim.
As it should, because it's a great show. It's a great show, great premise, and it's funny. Yeah. Very, very funny.
It's awesome. I love it. Yeah. Okay, so we've covered the East. Now let's cover the AFC West there. We talked about the Chiefs and a little bit. No, we didn't. We haven't really covered the Chiefs, actually. They played the Sunday nighter, and it was the GOAT against the baby GOAT. We had Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. Tom Brady's numbers were massive. But Patrick Mahomes just showed us why he is so elite again and again and again. Some of those passes he makes, he's just such a magician with the ball. He realizes, I got to do this one sidearm. I got to do this shovel pass. I got to do this little looping pass. He's able to get out in space, find his receivers. They rolled up the score. Tampa Bay came back later on, but this was definitely KC was in charge of this one and rolling up another big victory.
No, they were in charge of this game from start to finish, I would say. Brady made a late run, but it was too late.
Yeah,
too little, too late. I think it was Mahomes' third touchdown where he was running around in the backfield, and then it looks like, is he going to run it in himself? No, he's going to toss it over the top to his buddy who is wide open. Like, I'm looking at it going, only he's going to do that kind of stuff. Like that. It was impressive.
Yeah. Sometimes you forget how elite he is, and then he does something like that, and then you're just like, no wonder he's making $50 million a year, and he's going to win a lot of incredible. He's going to win a lot of Super Bowls, and he's going to set a lot of records. There was something that came up yesterday, and I'll have to let you know about it. Okay, so he hit 20,000 passing yards, fewest games to hit that mark in NFL history, 67 games. Matthew Stafford had the original record, 71 games. There was a stat that came up that he needed. So he averages about 301 yards per game. He will need about 218 more games to catch Tom Brady's current total. That will be in the 2034 season when he's 39 years old, if he can just average that 300 yards a game that he's done already. Tom Brady is continuing to push that farther and farther and farther. So that'll be into his 41st year, 42nd year, maybe. So it's pretty wild. They talked a lot about Mahomes and Andy Reid. What an incredible dynamic head coach quarterback duo this is. They have a winning percentage of 788, second highest by any QB head coach duo in history. And you know who's number one, the hoodie and TB. They had Patrick Mahomes has started all 67 games for Andy Reid, and Andy Reid is the second head coach in NFL history with 50 plus wins with 3 different quarterbacks. Don Shula is the only other guy to have that. Donovan McNabb, he had 92 victories, 92, 41, and 1 was his record. Alex Smith was 50-26, and Patrick Mahomes now is 52-14 with his record.
Wow.
So yeah, incredible. He's just magnificent to watch, and to see him going up against this 58-year-old man that's throwing the ball on the other sideline, I was just like, this is gonna be fun, but it really was a complete blowout. We did talk about Brady putting some points up near the end, but look at Brady's numbers though. Like, why are you getting that old man to throw the ball that much? Like, they had no running game. Like, they ran the ball 6 times for 3 yards.
Yeah.
Like, that is pathetic. Why don't they try to get a running game going? You're asking the oldest quarterback that's ever played the game to win all your games. That doesn't seem like a great plan.
It's not balanced attack whatsoever.
No.
And you have a very good running back in Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
I think he's a very good running back. But, to his credit, I guess they just passed him the ball instead of letting him run it. Yeah. So because he did get a touchdown, 7 receptions, 57 yards. And I like the fact that Brady finally had his weapons back.
Yeah.
When I say his weapons, his receivers were all back. Yeah. Evans, Godwin, Julio Jones all came back. Evans had a great game. 8 receptions, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. But he now has his people back. So I think you're going to see a shift. You're going to see a change with the Bucs, just not in this particular game because he had to play Pat Mahomes.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, okay. So the Chiefs host the Raiders on the Monday nighter a week from tonight. It'll be quite fun to see those two guys going at it, and the Bucs host the Falcons in the early window of the Sunday morning game, so that'll be good. Okay, staying with the AFC West, the Chargers handled Houston. Houston is the only winless team so far in the NFL. Herbert looked great. His rib cartilage problem seems a lot better. Eckler had 3 touchdowns on the game. Very impressive performance. And Williams was huge. Another over 100 yards there. This was a little closer than I expected, but Chargers looked great on offense and were able to get the big 34-24 win.
Yeah, Chargers looked great. They had the great bounce back game. Luckily, they were able to play Houston to have a great bounce back game against, and so that makes it a lot easier. Yeah. But for the Texans, they may have found somebody with their running back, Pierce.
Oh man,
he's pretty good.
He played great. Good. He played really great. I was impressed with him. That 75-yard run that he broke off and got the touchdown on, man. That he had a burst of speed through there, and it was very impressive. I like this kid.
Yeah, I like him too, man. Like 14 carries for 131 yards, a touchdown. Yeah, man. Yeah, they might have themselves a gem right there.
Yeah, I'm amazed they didn't give him the ball more. Like, why only 14 when he's pulled off 130? Like, yeah, he should have been given a lot more opportunity.
Well, you know what? That's the great thing about the Texans. They don't do that.
Yeah, right. Weird, strange. So weird. Davis Mills took a lot of criticism this week. They've come out and say this is their man, sticking behind him. There's not going to be a change behind center. We'll see, but as I said, man, it's got to be tough to be the only winless team in the whole league.
Well, yeah, it sucks because it's like, well, you're not good. So, like winning can solve everything, but losing just exasperates everything.
Yeah,
And that's what they're dealing with. And the Texans have been like that for quite some time.
yeah.
And they actually have somebody that they can blame. Oh, man, it was that former GM, that dude that gave
Yeah.
away DeAndre Hopkins,
Oh,
and then
man.
everything kind of fell apart after that.
Horrible.
That
Yeah. Yeah, they screwed up big time there. Yep. They sure did. Chargers go play Cleveland early window Sunday. Houston goes to Jacksonville, also the early game. The Jags are looking good, so they might be in for continuing that winless drought there. Okay, let's also talk about the same division. The Raiders and the Broncos came together. It's amazing. Geno Smith is better than Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson had his best statistical day, and it's still not as good as Geno Smith's putting up in Seattle. So the Raiders got their first win, was able to finally get in the win column, and had a great victory, 32-23 over the Broncos.
Yeah, and it's funny how you just mentioned that because Russell Wilson had his best statistical game, and for this game, and he came up short. Wilson 17 of 25, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he got 1 rushing as well.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, oh, yeah, this is the guy. Is this not the guy? This is the guy that we're paying all this money for, right? Yeah. But then he didn't win. So maybe not so much.
not going to be good if he's not pulling off the victories. Yeah. Josh Jacobs, man, he was huge in this game. Man, when he's on, he is phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, he is. He is, man. Like 28 carries, 144 yards, massive game.
Yeah.
Sorry. I also forgot. Sorry. 5 receptions for another 31 yards.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns running the ball. Like, yeah, he had a massive game. Yeah. And then there was a Devontae Adams sighting. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, he stepped up big. It's almost like Carr remembers, like, I remember you. I should get you the ball. Right. 9 receptions for 101 yards, man. So, yeah, it's good that the Raiders have finally gotten off the schneid. They finally got themselves a win, and maybe they can now build upon this.
Yeah. The huge blow for Denver was Javonte Williams was hurt, and news came down today that their running back will be out for the season, torn ACL. He had 47 carries for 204 yards and 16 catches for 76 yards. Him and Melvin Gordon, that backfield, were looking great. Last year, he had almost 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, another 43 catches for 315 yards. And this is a huge blow for Russell, for the Denver organization. Melvin Gordon's great, but that 1-2 punch was something that they were going to be relying on all season. And yeah, this is a massive blow.
Yeah, it's a massive blow. It really sucks because now Gordon's going to have to carry more of the weight, and so is Wilson. But maybe Wilson can now just begin to start to build on this game from this starting point. Yeah. Because the last couple of games, well, I don't think there's much to mention there. But this one there is. So hopefully they can build on that. Hopefully he can build on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's cover the AFC North. Let's talk about the teams there. We covered the Ravens already. They're at 2-2, and the Bengals are 2-2. The Browns are also in a three-way tie, 2 wins, 2 losses. They unfortunately lost to Atlanta 23-20. There were no TDs through the air in this game. Both teams had a couple of rushing touchdowns, big rushing attack. Atlanta was dealt a massive blow as well when Cordell Patterson was hurt, and it looks like he's on IR. Will not be eligible for about a month or so. Yeah, this was a battle of the running attack, but Atlanta pulls out the victory, and they sit at 2-2 as well.
Yeah, Atlanta got it done. They got it done.
Yeah.
But at least before Patterson unfortunately got injured, he managed to get himself a touchdown. Algier?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Tyler
with
Algier. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 carries, 84 yards. He had himself a great game. But the running back that stood out between the two teams, as he always does, Nick Chubb.
Jeez.
Love that.
Yeah.
Got a monster.
He's amazing. Yeah, he just churns out so many yards every time. He didn't even have 20 carries and 120 yards rushing, touchdown. The guy is great. Yeah, he's such a weapon for them.
Yeah, he's such a weapon for them. And then also too, you have your off-speed guy with Kareem Hunt with 10 carries, 49 yards. Unfortunately, the Browns couldn't pull it out. And my Falcons, they got it done.
Yeah. Yeah, even though they're not giving Marietta much of an opportunity. He only had 7 completions on the day.
Yeah.
Only one guy had 2 catches. Everybody else had one catch or nothing. A bit of a running attack there. Yeah, I'm amazed that they're pulling off victories with as little offense as they have.
Yeah. And hopefully they can just keep doing that. Just be like just pulling magic out of the hat. Just be like, okay, so we're not generating any offense. We were barely holding on for defense, but we're winning. So good enough. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're 2-2. That's a lot better than lots of people predicted for them. So here you go. Okay, so we've covered the North. Browns, Ravens, Bengals, all 2-2. Steelers, we talked about earlier, who lost to the Jets. They sit at the bottom of the division, 1-3. Let's go to the AFC South. Jags and Titans sit at 2-2, top the division. Jags had a hard-fought loss against the Eagles, who sit at 4-0. This was the return of Doug Peterson, former Eagles coach that won the Super Bowl for them, or helped them win the Super Bowl. Jags played great, but Eagles, right now the class of the whole NFL.
Yeah, who would have thought? The class of the whole NFL. Eagles played great, and the defense really stepped up. 5 takeaways against the Jags, and that's really what cemented the win, especially in those conditions that they played in. That was like a monsoon that they were playing in. Of course, that was really hard to hold on to the damn football.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, the Jags fans are petitioning that they're going to change his middle name to Butterfingers. They're going to go down to City Hall and make it Trevor Butterfingers Lawrence. He is the first football player this century to lose 4 fumbles in a game. First player this century. That had to be rough. He needed to wear gloves. He needed to get some stickum. He needed to maybe get some crazy glue, something. But that must have been so frustrating for Jags fans.
Yeah, that must have super sucked, because it's like they had a chance to win this game. They were in it.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna lose four fumbles,
and threw a pick, and threw a pick,
yeah, you're not gonna win a game. It's gonna be really, really hard to win a game when you're giving away the ball 5 times.
It was crazy. I like this Jamal Agnew. He scored both touchdowns. He also is their kick returner. He returned 3 kickoffs for 70 yards and even returned a couple punts. Got 4 catches for 50 yards and got the 2 TDs. This guy's a weapon.
Yeah, no, I was super impressed. I really liked I liked the way that he came in, played the game. The 2 touchdowns were magnificent, and he looked really good.
Yeah.
It looked like Trevor Lawrence has found himself another weapon, along with Kirk, who came over from the Cardinals with 2 receptions and 60 yards. But going back to the Eagles, though, Sanders had himself a big game.
What a game. Yeah. Their running attack is, I think, the best in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I think so too. With Hurts running, because you're always afraid of what he's going to do, and then Sanders himself is a fantastic running back. 27 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh yeah, and then going through the air, still got AJ Brown back there, still getting it done. 5 receptions, 95 yards.
Yeah. The Eagles had 4 rushing touchdowns. It's going to be hard to beat any team when they're going to score that much on the ground. And and then AJ Brown, one of the best guys in the NFL catching the ball. So I can't see the Eagles having too much troubles this year. They could be one of those teams that starts going for that 16-0, 17-0 now. They traveled to Arizona to play the Cardinals in the 1:25 window Pacific time this Sunday, and the Jags host the winless Texans. So we can see the Jags continuing to be at the top of the AFC South, 3-2 record, and continuing on.
Oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna say it now. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen.
Guaranteed victory. Yeah,
I guarantee.
Sound like Barkley.
Yes, I know. I knew you get that. I knew you get that.
Okay, the Titans, as I said, they're also tied with the Jags 2-2. They were able to beat the Colts 24-17. Derrick Henry had one of those Derrick Henry type games, and they got a nice win over Indy.
Yeah, Henry looked fantastic. You know what? Whenever Derrick Henry's running like that, Titans really, really hard to beat. Yeah. Really hard to beat. Yeah. Henry, 22 carries, 114 yards, a touchdown, going along with 3 receptions for 33 yards. And Tannehill had himself a good game too. Only missed 4 passes, 17 of 21, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns, but no picks.
Yeah.
No picks. Did not turn over the ball. That's key for Tannehill for sure.
Matt Ryan threw that 1 pick, and that was just very crucial, but big numbers again. Very impressive. 356 yards, couple touchdown passes. Jonathan Taylor really couldn't do much. 20 carries for 42 yards. Usually he's able to get out in space, but they swallowed him up on this one.
Yeah, they swallowed him up. They didn't really give him anything. They didn't give Taylor anything, any running room whatsoever. But Ryan, his favorite target for this particular game was Mo Alley Cox.
Yeah.
I love that guy's name.
Love it.
This is a great name. 6 receptions, 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. And you know what? This week is showing me is that old men still can get it done. Still can get those numbers,
Yeah. The biggest key for the victory for the Titans were they were +3 in takeaways. They got 2 fumbles and the 1 interception. And Colts fall down to 3rd in the division, 1-2-1. Texans last, and in the division and the conference, like I mentioned earlier. Titans play Washington the early window, and Indy goes to Denver to play the Thursday nighter. Which I hope they outline next year. But the Thursday nighter, Denver Indy. So we'll see if Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan be interesting. Sorry, Indy. No, not Matt Ryan. Yeah. So okay. Chargers got a nice win over the Texans. We mentioned that. And now we're going to the NFC. We're going to start with the East. Eagles got their win at 4-0. The Cowboys and Giants are sitting at 3-1. Let's talk about Dallas as they dominated the Commanders 25-10. Jerry Jones said there is a quarterback controversy in Big D, and Cooper Rush has got himself in the mix. And if Dak comes back healthy, he doesn't know who he wants to play.
Really? Really? Is that what we're doing now? Is that a thing?
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Can you believe he even said that? So dumb.
It's come on, man. Come on. What are you doing? Hey, how about this? Just be glad that he won these games. All right. Like Cooper Rush won these games, and that's fantastic. But what are you talking about? If Dak is healthy, Dak goes in and he plays. Like that's the way that goes.
Why would he even do that? You don't want quarterback controversies. You don't want that in your team. You got a main guy, he goes down, he comes back, he gets back in. This is just ridiculous. And Cooper Rush has played fine, but come on, he's not going to take Dallas to the playoffs and give them a chance at a Super Bowl. It was nuts when he said that. I'm like, okay, maybe it's finally time to put him out the pasture. He's old. He's done. He doesn't know what the hell he's saying. Time to put him in the old folks' home. Like, holy cow, that was just dumb.
Yeah, I really don't know what you're talking about. Like, come on, man. Like, Cooper Rush is. Hey, I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's won these games, but he ain't Dak Prescott. No. All right, like he's not. He's not that guy. So you got to give him back his job. Yeah. Or maybe, you know what, Jerry? Heck, you want Cooper Rush in there? Let's see if he can run the table. Let's see if he can do it. All right? That's what you want to see.
Oh, man.
But he'll take you there. Go for it. All right.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be so frustrating to be a Dallas fan. I don't know how you can do it. It's like every week you got to just shake your head. Just the weirdest comments and crazy shit comes out of there. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
This game, Michael Gallup came back, first game of the season. Good to see him back. Got into the end zone with a couple catches. The Dallas defense, though, I think they're the reason why they're winning. To be honest, they just were just all over Carson Wentz, who had a horrible game. Couple picks, just was not able to go at all. And Washington looks bad. Sitting 1-3, last in the division. I think it's going to be a rough year for Carson Wentz and this team.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think that the culture in Washington is just toxic.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think they don't have a winning culture there whatsoever. No. It's not even close. Like, it's not even close.
No,
and I think that it starts with the owner, Dan Snyder, who's slime ball. And and it starts with that guy. No. And it filters down to everything else in the organization. Yeah. And I'm sorry, man, but that culture is just not there.
No.
And so they're gonna have a rough season.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad there. And Daniel Snyder deserves it. So on to the next one. Washington hosts the Titans. Sure, they got beat there. Dallas goes to the Rams. Rams will be mad after losing to the Niners. 24-9 final today. Cooper Kupp, 14 catches, 122 yards. Wilson had a touchdown on 18 carries, 74 yards. Debo, 6 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. Jimmy G looked pretty good. And big win. As I said, all teams 2-2 in that division. So pretty interesting. NFC East, the Giants are 3-1. Pretty easy win over the Bears, 20-12. This one was another game where we had quarterback issues for the Giants. Daniel Jones was hurt. Tyrod Taylor was hurt. And guess who they went to and was the quarterback for a few snaps after those two quarterbacks went down?
Eli Manning? came back.
That would have been awesome. That would have been amazing. No, who's the Giants' best player?
What, Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, he was their quarterback. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he was taking the snap and then he was just running. And he was just running. Even when Daniel Jones came back, he came into the game and he wasn't even under center. He went off to the side and Saquon just kept getting the ball and just running for it. And it was awesome to watch, man. I was like, they should just make this permanent. Forget Jones. Just put Saquon in there and get him to do it every single game. This was amazing.
Yeah, and Barkley had himself a game. 31 carries, 146 yards. It seems to me like he's playing with like something to prove this particular season. Like he really is. He's coming out with some serious fire, and it's great to see.
Yeah. And injury troubles for him really decimated him the last couple seasons, but this one he's just so awesome. And Daniel Jones, had a good start. He had 6 carries, 68 yards, and a couple TDs. Seemed like he was good. Then he gets out. Tyrod Taylor comes in. Forgot Tyrod had went there. Good to see him. But bam, he gets a concussion, throws a pick, and gets a concussion. He's out. And I don't think he'll be able to play this coming week. So they'll have to pull in a second quarterback. Maybe Saquon will be the backup again for Jones, and maybe they'll have to go and get somebody off the scrap heap. There's been so much talk about Justin Fields this year, and I'm amazed that they don't trust him, but he threw some balls to Darnell Mooney in this game that were awesome. The broadcaster said perfect ball thrown to Mooney. I heard him say it on a couple occasions. Absolute perfect ball to Mooney. And but they're still handcuffing him. They're not giving him that opportunity. They're running the ball a lot. It's weird. He was so beautiful on some of those passes.
Oh, some of those passes, were just absolute beauties. Like especially the one downfield to Mooney where he caught it over his shoulder. Like that was a perfect pass. It does not get any better than that. It doesn't get any better than that. And on top of that, he still had 7 carries for 52 yards. Like, I don't know. He's young. He's gonna have to go through his growing pains. So let him do it. Yeah. Just let him play the game, man.
Yeah. I'm surprised at the handcuffs that they're putting on him and not letting him go very much. But they also had 3 fumbles in this game that really definitely contributed to the loss, and they sit 2-2 on the year. The Giants, as I said, they go to London to play Green Bay, and Chicago goes to Minnesota early window on Sunday. So okay. So we covered the NFC West a little bit, but let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. 2-2 on the year. What a shootout game this was. Man, this was old school football. Some of those games where, last team that gets the ball wins it. These are some of the numbers. They had 93 points scored, over 1,075 yards, 695 yards through the air, 380 on the ground, 12 touchdowns scored. Both teams had just guys with just career numbers. This was an exciting football game.
I was not expecting between these two teams on offensive explosion and extravaganza of offense. I was not expecting that. No. I wasn't expecting that, but it was cool to see that both defenses said, you know what? Let's see how much points they can score on us. I'm curious. I've always been curious. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
It was exactly what that was, man.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I love the fact that Rashad Penny, 17 carries only, 151 yards, 2
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Huge game.
Yeah.
Massive.
Well, I was talking about Seattle's run defense last week. Well, Detroit's run defense is just as bad or worse. Detroit has scored the most points in the NFL, but they've also allowed the most points in the NFL, and it isn't even close. If they go on this run for the entire season, they're going to set records both offensively and for horrific defensively. It's going to be amazing. But look at some of the numbers. Like you mentioned Rashad Penny, but look at DK Metcalf and 150 yards in the air. They had Geno Smith, 320 yards passing, and he had 49 yards on the ground with another touchdown. Like, yeah, he's got better numbers than Russ. And I said that at the beginning of the year. I said Russell Wilson's guys that he's throwing to, he doesn't have the same type of guys that Geno Smith has. Like you're throwing to Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and you're handing the ball to Rashad Penny. This offense is pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, and they're beginning to show it. Like, and especially in this game, although Lions defense is pretty porous, like almost non-existent. But they do have weapons. And the tight end Disley. Don't forget that guy.
I know. I love him.
He's solid.
I really love him. Yeah,
he's a great tight end.
Yeah.
But going on to the other side of the ball, Jared Goff, he's beginning to have some career numbers here. Like his numbers are absolutely insane. 26 of 39, 378 yards, 4 touchdowns with 1 pick. But then his dude, Hawkinson.
TJ, yeah, holy crap. That has to be a career game.
Yeah, it was. 8 receptions, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah. And Jamal Williams, another incredible game. He's filling in for DeAndre Swift and looking like, not missed and beat at all. 19 carries, 108 yards and a couple TDs. And they have a massive amount of weapons, but I think they got to make some trades and try to get some defense because this is going to be a rough year. They're probably going to lose a lot of games by this type of score.
Yeah, they are. But at least the one great thing that Lions fans can count on is, we got some offense though, buddy. We got offense. They got plenty of that.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, this is fun football. I love it. It's great. It's pretty incredible to see. I don't think a lot of people would have suspected both these teams going into the year that they'd be having a shootout like this, and this is kind of prolific offense that we'd see. So Seahawks play New Orleans early window Sunday, and Detroit goes to New England also in that early window. Okay, Arizona also 2-2 after beating Carolina 26-16. Kyler Murray was good, threw for a couple touchdowns and ran for 1. Hollywood Brown caught another 6 balls, another touchdown. Zach Ertz had a TD, and the defense picked off Baker Mayfield a couple times. The only thing that was good for the Panthers was Christian McCaffrey, over 100 yards, a lot of touches. Baker's having his struggles there, and Arizona was able to pick up the big win.
Yeah, Arizona got the big win, and Mayfield, he's I think he was envisioning a little bit more success than what he's having right now.
Yeah.
But at least what, the Panthers' lone one bright spot is always going to be Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
8 carries, 27 yards, but that's the great thing about him. You may be able to shut him down in a run, but you can also pass to that guy. Yeah. And then 9 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown. So that dude is their offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's pretty much the beginning and end to their offense. And he's awesome, but he's wasted there. That's for sure. That's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Arizona hosts the Eagles, so they're in tough. That's the 1:25 kickoff time locally here. And Carolina hosts San Fran. 105 later window. Okay, let's talk about the NFC North, the Vikes and the Saints. And this is the London game. Hell of a game, really fun, back and forth, back and forth. Will Lutz hit a 60-yard field goal to put the Saints ahead. Then the Vikes came down and tied it, went back ahead, and then about a minute later, Will Lutz went down again, and they couldn't quite get it to where he needed that 60-yarder. He had to attempt a 61-yarder and kicked it, looked really good, started fading a little left, ended up hitting the upright, and then coming down, hit the crossbar, and then it fell, and it did not, was not a good field goal. Oh man, it was crazy how that thing did the double doink and didn't go through. It was insane. I could not believe that ball fell and did not give them the field goal.
Yeah. I to be honest, for myself, I was really happy that happened.
Yeah.
Because like in my pool, I picked the Vikings to win, so I needed that to happen.
Okay.
I did have to hold my breath. I was like, oh no, but luckily it worked out. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings had a massive game.
Yeah.
Massive. 10 receptions, 147 yards, but biggest catch of the game was to set up the winning field goal.
Yeah.
And that was huge.
Oh,
huge play. Huge play by Jefferson.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a talent. He's probably top 3 receivers now in the NFL and just massive. Get him the ball for sure. Andy Dalton filled in for the injured Jameis Winston. He had a pretty good game. It was very disappointing, but they fall to 1-3 on the year now, and tough road to hoe. Unfortunately, Vikings safety Louis Cine suffered a compound leg fracture to his left leg. He had to stay in London to have surgery on it. Team staff member had to stay with him, and we wish him all the best. Looks like he will be out for the season. And Alvin Kamara ended up being out of this game, late scratch. No word exactly what was the problem. He was just right at kickoff, all of a sudden they announced, oh, he's scratched, he can't play, and that was a big blow for the Saints for sure.
Yeah, that sucks. Hopefully whatever's ailing him is not going to continue to ail him. Hopefully that's something he can get over rather quickly. But he was sorely missed in this game. Clearly.
Yeah, that was tough to see, that compound fracture. It was brutal. I feel really sorry for Louis Cine, and that's going to be a huge blow for the Vikings. 3-1, having a great start to the year, but losing your safety, it's hard to make up for that. So Vikings do play Chicago early window Sunday, and as I mentioned earlier, the Saints host the Seahawks. So, and just one game to cover, the last game, Green Bay, they start the year, they're 3-1, and they got the we did cover that one earlier. Yeah, they got the overtime win over the Patriots. So that's our roll around the NFL. Pretty good Sunday, lots of fun, and the NFL's been so far so good. It's been a great year already.
Yeah, no, and so far so good. There's definitely been a heck of a lot of parity. Can't guess who's going to win from week to week, which is really good. That's always a good sign of a great season.
I've been playing fantasy football. You've been playing. You've got something going. I've been in the Millionaire Maker leagues week after week, and I'm still not a millionaire yet. But the guy that won the million this week, he went heavily on the Seahawks, and it was a brilliant move on his part. He also had TJ Hawkinson, which was big because he had a monster game, career game. Yeah, his totals were pretty phenomenal, and I was yeah, I did not think the Seahawks were gonna put up that much points. I didn't think Seattle Detroit were the game to go to in my fantasy draft.
Who would have thought that? Like, come on, man. Come on. Who's really thinking that?
Yeah.
I don't know if this guy did a deep dive into the defensive numbers and he just goes, no, I got an algorithm and it works.
Yeah.
I knew it was that game. Like, come on, man. Like that's a little bit of luck there.
Yeah.
Or a lot.
Yeah, he won $1 million, plus he won an entry into the final where I think the lowest prize is 100,000 and the top prize is 4 million. So he got himself a ticket into that. There's a guy that finished in third place who had the same lineup, 33 of the same lineup. So $20, he had to pay 660, I guess it was. But he got from third place all the way to 34th place, and he collected $366,000 for doing that.
That's not bad. That's a good payday. That's a real good payday.
And he definitely also was heavy on the Seahawks. He had DK, he had Rashad, he had Gino, and yeah, man, geez, I really wish I would have went to Seattle, Detroit heavy.
Yeah, I know. Like it's just like, wow, these guys, they have their hand on the pulse. They know something that nobody else knows.
Yeah. Nobody else seemed to know. Yeah, no, not. And yeah, they were able to capitalize, and good on them. They were really smart. I was going for Bills Ravens, and I thought that was going to be the game of the day with highest score, but no, not the case. Okay, UFC. We had a UFC card. It was not a great card. I didn't think it was going in. I was looking forward to a couple fights on the card, but pretty weak card. We heard earlier in the week that the media wasn't invited, then fans weren't invited, and we were like, okay, what's going on here? And then we heard Mark Zuckerberg is coming.
Was invited.
Yeah, was invited. He got the lone invitation. Him and his wife were showing up. I don't really get why he would personally want to be in an empty arena. I don't know why Dana would want an empty arena. Dana White says that he did not buy out the arena. Somehow supposedly he's saying that he invited him and then he decided on his own that he didn't want people to bug him. So he decided nobody could come. But there's celebrities all the time at these events. And they don't get harassed, I don't think. They don't get super bugged. Donald Trump's been there, The Rock's been there, tons of athletes, lots of famous people are always in the crowd, and they seem to be able to handle it. I don't know why Zuckerberg couldn't handle a crowd around him.
I guess that's because Zuckerberg's bigger than all of those people. Bigger. Like he looks down on all of them. It's like, do you know how much money I have? Get out of here, you little ants. Little person. You know what? Sometimes I'm sorry, I can't take Dana White at his word. Right. Sometimes. Right. Yeah, he has lied to the public a ton of times.
Yeah.
So whatever he has said, it's like, I'm sure there's a little bit of truth to that, or none whatsoever. And I'm sure that there was some money that was exchanged between them and the UFC. Because as much say as Dana White has, he's still not the owners.
No.
Those are other guys.
Yeah.
That's not him. All
right.
right.
So you wouldn't think the owners would be like, oh yeah, sure, we'll accept $0 for this one. We're paying out money. They even had 6 bonuses. So, they paid out 300,000 in bonuses, and all the fighters made money. And that this one would have been, probably this would have been the biggest loss that the UFC ever took, even maybe more than some of the ones years back.
Yeah. So what he just said doesn't make any sense, and I'm sure none of it is real. I'm sure there was payment being made, and he's just like protecting his interests. And also, too, he's probably doing that for the future of doing things like this again.
Yeah.
I think he's prepping it because let's be honest, this was a lower tier card.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do something like this, yeah, this is definitely the card to do it. This is definitely the card to do it. Definitely the card to experiment to see, is it worth it? Is it profitable?
Yeah.
Can it make us money? Because then all of a sudden now, if he can do these kind of private events for billionaires who have money, makes sense.
Yeah.
They're in the business of making money. So
yeah, but it seems crazy. This card had no energy. It was like brutal. I just couldn't believe it. The energy was just sucked out of the building. I felt sorry for a lot of the fighters on this card because they had no friends, family. They had nobody cheering them. It was weird. It was just this felt like an Ultimate Fighter card. This did not feel, like a regular UFC fight night. It really lacked energy at all.
Yeah, it did. It you know what it felt like? Kind of, except I'm gonna say worse was when COVID first started.
Right.
And when they first had like the fights come back. Felt like that, but except worse energy.
Much worse.
Way less.
It was tough. Yeah, it was. I don't even like the cards really at the Apex. I think they got to stop doing so many there. I think the energy's not that great. The crowds are super small, and it's just not really a true representation of the sport played in front of big crowds in great arenas. And I'm hoping that they start moving away from the Apex, not trying to put more cards on there, and especially with no fans. It was horrible. I hated it.
You know what? Maybe he's gonna do this brilliant move. He's gonna do a massive pay-per-view, and it's gonna be private. Nobody's allowed to go.
Let's hope not. Let's hope
and he's gonna have a couple guys, like maybe 4, all billionaires though. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, maybe. Great. Let's hope he's not going in that direction, man. Oh man, it was brutal. Did you see Zuckerberg's wife? Like, I don't think she's ever attended a live event. She looked horrified when there was shots thrown, a guy got knocked down. She was cringing and oh my god. I don't think she's been ever to a live event. It was pretty comical watching her reactions.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot because like that was my entertainment, watching the one person freak out because she's never seen it before. So that was cool.
I want to share something with you real quick. We were talking about him just now, and look at the picture of Uncle Dana. Have you seen him lately? He looks pretty jacked. He has slimmed down. He took off 30 pounds. He's under a new diet regimen. 53-year-old Dana White. This is how he looks. What do you think?
Hold on a second. Is that photoshopped? Is that his head on somebody else's body?
I couldn't say for sure.
Oh man, TRT.
Yeah, good job.
Awesome.
He said that he went to like a 23andMe or something like that. No, maybe I'm getting this mixed up. Somehow he went to a doctor, and the doctor said that how with the shape you're in right now, you're going to be dead within 10 years. I'll give you 10 years at the outset. And I think it really woke him up. He decided that he was going to address it. He was going to eat healthier. He's going to work out more. He was going to do a lot better things for his health. He dropped 30 pounds. He said he's eliminated his snoring, his sleep apnea problem. He said he was having a hard time even walking. His legs were giving him huge troubles. His leg problem has completely gone away, and he feels like he hasn't been this healthy in a long, long, long time.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. That like exercise and working out actually is doing his body well.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. So that's fantastic that he's found his elixir, his fountain of youth. Now the only thing that Uncle Dana needs to do is to keep it up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hopefully.
Now he just needs to be consistency and just needs to keep putting in the work day in, day out, forever.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got. Yep. Got to do it. Yep. Okay, so let's blaze through this card a little bit. The main event, it was Mackenzie Dern, who is a world jiu-jitsu champion, considered one of the greatest women grapplers, submission artists, and she could not submit a white belt. She could not take out a white belt who does not have any ground game at all. This was embarrassing, I think. When Jan said, "Hey, I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu," I thought it was a big slap in the face to who some people consider the greatest women submission artist in the UFC.
Yeah, it's a huge slap in the face. Yeah, man. Like, it's like she basically just said, "You can't submit a white belt," and you couldn't. Yeah. But to Jan's credit, she did great stalling tactics to survive the effortless twists and turns that Dern took her through, especially in that in the second round where she dominated her.
Right.
And she was effortlessly flowing from one submission to the next submission to the next submission to the next submission. I was just like, okay, well, she's got to be caught in one of these eventually, right? But Jan did fantastic work installing, surviving, and just doing enough so that she could not lock in a submission.
Yeah.
And then when she was able to like stand with her in the first, third, fourth round, she was able to keep her distance and pot shot her.
Yeah.
And Jan looked great doing that.
Her stand-up game was phenomenal. Her takedown defense was amazing.
Yes.
Mackenzie Dern has to get better stand-up game. You know, she's not going to be able to take down elite fighters when, you know, her stand-up game's that poor. Jan was able to keep distance, pick her apart. She dominated 3 rounds. Mackenzie Dern definitely dominated that second round, and a lot of people were calling for a 10-8 round, maybe even a 10-8 round for that 5th round, but she ended up getting the majority decision win. I thought Jan won that fight. I think a lot of people were crying that it should have been a draw because they thought one of those 2nd or 5th should have been a 10-8, but no, this to me was Mackenzie Dern needs to go back to the drawing board and get a lot better at being all around.
Yes, absolutely agree with you on that. Her stand-up needs to definitely improve. But more importantly, I think like her grappling to take her opponent down needs to improve as well.
Yeah.
Because she did things where I'm like, well, she's not even trying to cut angles. You know, she's not trying to run the pike to try to get her down and stuff like that. Like there's certain things that I saw from Dern that could be improved upon. You can't always just pull guard and just hope for the best.
No.
That's not always going to work out for you.
No.
What could have worked out for her even better is if she just did what she did in the 5th round for all the previous rounds and get the top position and give herself a better chance of getting a submission.
Yeah. Yeah. So looks like these two will switch places in the rankings. Mackenzie, you know, goes down a little bit. I think she's got to fight somebody, maybe like Michelle Watterson. Jan has an opportunity, maybe winning her next fight, getting a title shot. But yeah, I wasn't impressed. I didn't love this fight at all. So let's move on. Let's talk about the co-main here. Randy Brown, love this guy, amazing fighter, but he gassed out in this one. Against a 44-year-old man who's still in there. Trinaldo won the later part of this fight and almost pulled out the victory. Randy, I don't know why he got so gassed, but he almost lost this fight because he got so tired.
Yeah, he almost did. And at least he put in the good work in the first beginning of those rounds, the first 2 rounds. I got him that win. But Trinaldo is a load to fight. Yeah. And he always will be. It's just the way that he fights. It is always going to be effective against whoever he fights, regardless of what their assets are. Sure. He is just that tough to fight at all times. Yeah. Like he picked apart Brown. He started doing those calf kicks, eventually took away his base in the 3rd round, got him down to the ground. And also too, like that left high kick was getting closer and closer to hitting Brown all the time. Like I'm just always impressed with Trinaldo. Like it's just like he kind of reminds me a little bit of Randy Couture, where it's just like, wow, time doesn't affect me.
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
Yeah,
and when you fight me, you're gonna get hurt. I might not win. You're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, age is just a number, as a lot of those older guys say, and he was impressive and almost pulled out the victory there. Okay, I was not impressed with Trevin Jones. This was Barcelos' easy one-sided victory, super dominant. Definitely dominant on the ground, but even better in the stand-up. Trevin Jones just wasn't throwing enough. I don't know what was up, but this was so one-sided. Even one of the judges was scored at 30-25. It was 30-26 and 30-27, I believe. But it was this was an easy victory, it looked like, for Barcelos.
Yeah, Barcelos mixed up his strikings well, like with the knees, the elbows, flurries to the breadbasket. Like, he looked great. Yeah. Jones looked stiff. He didn't throw enough, and he had absolutely no head movement. Right. That was the other thing that I noticed. He had absolutely no head movement whatsoever. So great win by Barcelos. Definitely dominated the fight. Jones needs to go back to the drawing board and needs to fix a couple things.
Yeah. Super Sadiq Youssef, one of the quickest sub wins ever. Just Bam was able to get this done. He was supposed to fight Giga Chikadze in this one. Well, it was his original opponent. Chikadze had to pull out, so they brought in the short notice guy. When we did the preview last week with this, we're both like, we don't really know this Giannis guy. I have heard that he's pretty decent on the regional circuit, but overmatched big time in this one. Yusuf just came in and made quick work of this. They didn't even give a bonus because it was just like, oh man, that was almost like beating a kid. It was so bad.
Yeah, he took his candy and spit on him. So
exactly, it was rough. Yeah,
it was rough.
Yeah, UFC debut didn't go quite according to plan for this guy.
No, it didn't. It did not go according to plan whatsoever. So I hope actually that now the UFC goes, okay, so that was ridiculous. Let's make that Yusuf Chikadze fight now.
Yeah, hopefully they can run it back. I hope so. Yeah, that would be great. Mike Davis fights Slava Claus, and Davis. I don't know. It's so weird. I look at Borshev and think, okay, Russian. He's got to be good at wrestling, but this is one of the few Russians that sucks really bad at wrestling. He has been taken down 20 times in his last 2 fights. He really needs to polish up that part of his game. Mike Davis easily wins this one. And there were other cool thing was Davis said that he had put it out there to have one of his cornermen, somebody paid to be one of his cornermen, $10,000, and you can be one of his corner people. He said even better seat than Dana White has. Will really make it great for you, and those $10,000 can handle all the fees, all the things that he has to pay out of his pocket that are coming off the top of his salary. He said this helps him. It helps somebody that has the dough that can sit next to Mark Zuckerberg. This could have been, one of the only non-fighters in the camp, in the arena. And I kind of like it. UFC's super against it. They were pretty pissed off because they're not getting a little bit of the cut from it.
Of course.
But I thought it was brilliant on his part.
Yeah, so brilliant that guess what the UFC is going to do now? They're going to ban it.
Yeah,
they're going to ban it. Of course, they're absolutely going to do that. And you know what the fighters should say? It's like, aren't you making us wear those rock shoes, and we're not getting a cut of that, right?
Yeah,
right, Dana? You know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah. Somebody comes up with a brilliant move, and that is brilliant. I got to give it to him. Like that is a very astute, smart business move that the UFC will absolutely crush.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, that was sad to hear. He shouldn't have said it out loud.
Shouldn't have said anything.
Should have kept it under wraps, and they might have been able to get away with it for a while. There was a fight that was also supposed to be on the main card. Maxime Grisham and Philip Leans was canceled minutes, maybe an hour before it was supposed to happen. So we'll see and find out what happened there. I didn't hear, but somebody obviously had some issue that they couldn't fight. So on to the fight of the night. We had for the preliminary feature fight, Daniel Santos and Jake Castaneda. Castaneda was really dominant in the first round.
And almost had him out of there.
He was piecing him up. He had better kicks, better punches, better knees. He had Santos in all sorts of trouble. And this was a hell of a comeback. Santos getting the knockout victory when he landed a brutal knee that took him down. But it looked like this was going to be Castaneda's all the way until it wasn't.
Yeah, like especially when Castaneda landed that left high kick and rocked him. Yeah. I thought to myself, okay, so this is about to be over. And then Santos did something that I was impressed with. He showed heart.
Yeah.
Real heart. Yeah,
sure did.
Right?
Yeah.
Dug deep, man. Awesome. And then he came back after that head kick at the end of that round.
Yeah.
And then came after him in the second round. Put that pressure on him like nobody's business. I was impressed.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome performance. And he definitely showed heart because he was in all sorts of trouble and it looked like it was going to be an early fight, but somehow he turned it around and gets the huge win. This heavyweight battle between Ilir Latifi and Alexei Oleinik, not a good fight. Oleinik looked terrible. I'm not sure exactly why. Latifi won, but he said he's retired now. I think maybe Oleinik should be thinking about that because he just barely even showed up in this one.
Yeah. Latifi kind of grappled him, laid and prayed on him, and won the fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's about all I can say about this fight.
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah. Joaquin Silva beat the Canadian Jesse the Body Snatcher Ronson. Got a big knockout victory over him. I love Ronson, but he took the loss in this one. What did you think?
No, Silva he managed to get the advantage against Ronson when he went unorthodox in his stance. Yeah. And all of a sudden Ronson was just like, I don't know what's going on here. Because I think from his fight tapes, Silva doesn't really do that. Mm-hmm. And then so now all of a sudden Ronson was just like, he's giving us a look none of us has ever seen before, boys. I am not really sure what to do. And then he started piecing him up like that. Yeah. And then when he hit that flying knee, he was in the unorthodox stance again. That's how he hit him. Took him out. Great win by Silva and great read by his coaches to say, no, do that.
Yeah. No, it was super impressive and big win. I really like this middleweight fight between Brendan Allen and Christoph Jocko. Brendan Allen gets a great rear naked choke win. I was actually pretty blown away by his performance and getting the submission near the end of the first round.
Yeah, because Jotko is like that good. And Brendan Allen did that as quick as anything I've ever seen. Yeah. Where he sunk in that rear naked choke, I think at the same time he was taking his back. Like it was just that quick, that seamless, that good. Even I was impressed too. I think it was midway through that first round where he was able to buck up and turn him over, Jotko, who had top position, and then reverse the position. Yeah. That in itself was very impressive.
Yeah. I think it was Dominic Cruz who, or even it might have been Felder or Cruz called it. They said, "Oh, I can see him maneuvering into position. I think he's about to reverse this," and he did.
And he did.
Yeah, really super impressive. And yeah, it showed how skilled he is on the ground and got the big victory. Chelsea Chandler got $50K for her knockout win late in the first round over Stolyarenko. Nice performance by her.
Yeah, nice performance by Miss Chandler. Great knockout win by her.
Yeah. Stolyarenko, yeah, she's a tough girl, and I was really blown away by Chandler's performance. Guido Canetti started off the card. He got $50K for his early submission win over Randy Costa. Six bonuses in all, and he started off the night well.
Yeah, he did start off the night well with great win on his part, and I was hoping that there would be more finishes on this card because of the way it started, but didn't really happen like that.
No. The only one I didn't mention was Brendan Allen also got the $50K. So, and Silva, Joaquim Silva, Guido Canetti, Chelsea Chandler, Brendan Allen, and then the fight of the night between Santos and Castaneda. We also have another week off coming up this week. There's no UFC, so that was surprising to see when I looked ahead.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised as well, but I guess Dana has taken into consideration that it is our Thanksgiving, so he's letting us enjoy just our turkey in peace without no UFC, no fight.
Maybe, yeah. We got 2 long weekends in a row. That's pretty rare.
No, well, it was rare, but now it's going to be a thing going forward for us. Yeah. Because since now it's written into our contract. So we will always have 2 long weekends in a row. And it's going to be great because you know what? More time off for us is actually healthier for us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I feel a lot better on a Monday when I've got 3 days off like that. And this one will be a Monday this time. And I love having Mondays off. So yeah, I'll be even better prepared for next week's podcast because it's hard to fit it in with work. You were watching tons of highlights of NFL games today. So was I, and we're trying to work and do that as well. But yeah, next week podcast. If you're listening or watching, make sure you tune in. It'll probably be the best podcast we've ever done.
Yes. And then also too, it's going to be great because we're going to be, like rested.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, bud, this was awesome. I'm sure, we've both got to get some food in us and get some sleep. So thanks for doing this. Super fun to break down the weekend of sports as always.
Yeah, man. Always enjoy it. Always a pleasure. And look forward to next Monday.
Okay. Sounds good, bud. Take care. We'll talk this week.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Well, that's another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. A lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did doing it. Appreciate the support as always. And we got to mention our partners and sponsors. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a must have. Anchor.fm, easiest place to make a podcast. Go to them and they will be able to set you up like they did here. Pampas and Possibilities, the purveyors of West Coast pretty things for your home. Spruce it up and make it look great. And of course, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. go to our website and you can purchase the products at discounted rates. And yeah, thanks for sticking in. Appreciate your support. Tell your friends and family, and go to our website, completesportsmedia.com, and our parent site, completemedianetwork.com. Tons of great things there for you. Love you lots. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.